Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you guys at. It's your boy Goke Taiwo, Comlad Command Secondary School. Um, it's C89 Tiger House. Today we have two lovely guests here. Our princesses for C89. We love to call them that. One of my friends, Otumba Koijo, gave them that nickname. so I'm glad to have both of them here. They're actually with my class on 1989, and we're very, very good friends. And it's been a pleasure having a lot of people requesting to be scheduled to be on the show. And as we evolve in regards to the memory lane when we're in command and how evolved us to where we are today. It's a beautiful thing. We're getting good comments. So I hope you guys have watched the first 5 editions that have been published. We definitely also accept suggestions as we move along. So thank you very much. Ife, take it over.
Yes, sir. Good evening, ladies. Thank you for your time. I know it's kind of like 8 p.m. in Lagos, right? We'd like to introduce two beautiful guests from 89 Sex, both from Tiger House. Lametu Oni, she was known as Lametu Abubakar in command. And we have Evelyn Owosheni Abosede. Evelyn Abosede Owosheni. Ladies, please, we welcome to the show. Do you mind introducing yourselves? So we'll start with Lametu.
Thank you, Ife. As you can see, I'm representing Tiger House color, yellow. Yellow for life. Yeah, my name is Lametu Oni, formerly Abubakar. I am from the 89 set, and I'm a nutritionist.
Wow.
And Evelyn.
Oh, okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you, GT and Ife. Nice catching up with you guys. My names are Evelyn Abosede Osheni. Currently, I'm Evelyn Lanio, and I also go by the nickname formerly. And maybe today we'll get to the bottom of why the formerly or how it came about. I currently am in the banking industry. I work with enterprise risk as a credit admin risk manager. And Tiger for life. Though I'm sporting.
Please save us.
Yes,
Tiger for life.
House of in Tiger, and yeah. So nice to be here. Thank you.
So all right. So this is how we're gonna do this. I know you guys have probably seen our previous episodes. So the idea is to share with us how your experiences in Comlag, good and bad. Let's know how it's probably transformed you to who you are today, how it impacted your life.
I have a question, if you don't mind, okay? So, yeah. And this was posed to both of you. Do you think attending a co-ed regimental military school has affected you or has made your life more progressive compared to if you attended a just female, like one of the federal government college female schools like Shagam, one of those fantastic schools of the 80s, or Queen's College? Do you think you would have preferred to attend that or as you attended the co-ed and also being like command? What's your perspective on that?
So let's start with Lametu.
Yeah.
Okay, for me, the real world consists of both sex, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I want to now just learn how to deal with just one sex, as opposed having a heads up and learning how to deal with both the male gender and the female gender? So it's a no-brainer. I would rather be in a co-ed school than a unisex school, basically. Because even in today's world, I find that the way the world is evolving, I have to teach my children. I know a lot of parents even shy away from now we don't have just two genders. We have multiple genders. If you know what I mean, the binary gender.
Yeah.
I don't want to you know what I mean?
Yes.
I know a lot of people, like a lot of parents came from it and all that, but I found that I have to, like, at the point, sit my kids down and start, having that conversation, with them and all that. So I would do them a disservice if I now say, oh, go to a unisex school or go to a girls' school. How are they going to deal with the real world?
Right.
So I think that answers your question.
Yeah, so that's one part. So we want you to proceed to share your experiences. We might won't come back and visit that question.
Okay.
So you go ahead. We'll get to Evelyn eventually.
Okay. Are you talking about my general experience now in command?
Yes.
Yes, from junior days to when you finished with Lady Naija.
Okay, like we mentioned or we're talking about earlier on, how coming to command, I was like, at that age, you're very naive, and I think my personality is a bit like then a bit the subdue, passive kind of personality, and I'm very introverted. You know what I mean? And I think if you were that way, you tend to what is the word now? I mean, if you don't, you tend to internalize things, more than, you come out and, talk about them and all that. So, of course, we had issues with seniors, me being very, very passive. I remember like occasions when seniors would come to me, just talking about, my relationship with seniors and all that, being a junior now, because that is the one part I hated about command, the relationship, the fact that is it house mistress or they didn't like protect us from that relationship and all that, so they could like do and undo with us. I think that experience had made me like, no, my children are not going to a boarding school, no matter how sanitized or how whatever the industry or the this sector is right now, because you find out like, okay, a senior would say, go do this, for example, go and iron my shirt, and the senior will not give you an iron, or say, oh, go wash my plates, and the senior will not give you the resources to do that, no water, no, and you know how we basic things for ourselves and all that. Then you will now use the one you got for yourself and use it to serve, somebody. So it's like we're basically like slaves to these seniors. Like we mentioned to you earlier on. I mean, then when we got into command, we had this house then. Before they named it Tiger House, it was an ongoing project. So it was just uncompleted and just there. We had like a lot of like grass and all kinds of things, ingrown even inside the structure. So then when something happens, the senior beats you or slap you or whatever and all that, because, for me, it's like the world has come to an end, especially maybe something happens that is not even your fault, because you're the type that don't talk. You know what I mean? Everything, is put on you and blamed on you and all that. So a lot of times I find myself in this building just wishing that, oh God, I just want to die and all that. When you complain to your parents, it's like, what are you talking about? There are people there and they don't have two heads and, blah, 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 and all that stuff. So, of course, I didn't like that part. But, of course, I did like the part that, not that I liked at that point, but now this is how command has affected me. The fact that it was regimented and it was structured, there was time for breakfast, there was time for a nap, there was time for, you understand? So, it's actually puts your life in perspective in school there. And coming from that background, if Ibrahim can attest to that, when I was having, my kids, right from, them being babies, I'd put them on a schedule and time for nap, time for when they wake up and all that stuff. Everybody around me knew then that my babies don't cry. I have 3 girls and all that. And I had like the most, even till, now, I think their personality also had been shaped with the kind of structure I put them through as, babies. So they were just cool, no crying and all that. And up to this moment, they have, time they wake up, the time they have, for lunch time, for play, screen time, outside play, blah, blah, blah. So I think command taught me that early. And it also, I think translated into, maintaining my own peace of mind. Do you understand? In this crazy world that we find, ourselves, in at the moment and all that. So it actually helped me to, create that discipline, because I think we're talking about it yesterday. Mm-hmm. If you do not have discipline in anything, you're doing, whether it is your social life or business life, or even you need to create that discipline for yourself and give yourself those boundaries and say, okay, this is what I would do. This is where, you understand, I would draw the line. This is how far I can go. This is how, I want, basically that. So command did really impact my life and help me. That's what it was doing.
All right, so we're going to come back to... Oh, yeah, you answered some questions. We're going to come back to the fun part. So let's get to Evelyn. Evelyn, Goke asked a question about how do you think the co-ed format
So single-sex schools,
right, compared to going to just a single gender school?
Interesting question, because I recall that I had done the exams and interview for Federal Government Girls College Shagamu and also for MAND. In fact, I think I was even slated for FGGC, but as Providence will have it, I think they postponed their resumption. Command came earlier, and that was how, it was over. I think my friend just decided, what are you doing at home? And of course, we had family friends, that were also going, myself, Lami, the Nobert, Umole, we all used to be in the same neighborhood then, and that was how I came to.
You knew Nobert younger, when you were younger?
Yes, yes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's my boy. Okay.
I won't trade going to a unisex school for anything in the world. I won't, because I loved my command experience. Of course, there were bad days or bad sides. Do you understand? But in retrospect now, I think I'm the better for it. I don't attend meetings late. I mean, it is part of the discipline and the regimental lifestyle, Lami alluded to.
Be punctual.
I work, I'm structure. Command has taught me structure. My kids today, my family, even my mom, they just know, I wanted to be for me bed. This Evelyn, this is how she wants, her things done, and papa like that. And interestingly, hey, I think it has paid off for me. I mean, my life has turned out better.
So,
yeah.
So we asked our guest the last show, you both have kids, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Will you send them to command based on what you experienced in command?
Lamity, why is that face?
I won't even send them to a saner.
Really?
All the boarding schools with a posh environment these days. I'm not going to send my kids to one of those. And you're talking about command.
Sadly, it's also a no for me, because I recall the first time I went back to command after, it was 27 years after leaving, and I was sad. And as I speak now, I recall our 30th anniversary, when we went to the school, and I saw, the learners, the children there, and the buildings. I just felt sad. And I think the command problem is also the Nigerian problem. If you go back to even the universities that we graduated from, same structures that we left, nothing new, and they've dilapidated. And you got to the hostel, you saw, okay, we couldn't go to the hostel this time around, but I was told that the bunks, I saw the dining hall, and I couldn't even believe, what I was seeing, because in that time, do you understand? And this is supposed to be like how many years after that the world has moved on. And I was just crying in my spirit that, what is Army HQ doing? I mean, the military, fine, we're in a democracy and all that, but the military very much are in control. But I think that they've lost that vision for the school, because I was just thinking, I mean, I'm not happy. There's no way. I mean, I have two girls. The older, the first one is about finishing secondary school.
No, okay. Let's rephrase the question. 85. You guys came in 1985, right?
84.
84. Okay. Between 84 and 89, just have that in your mindset. Do you have your child there? 84, 89.
I think for me, it's not even about the declining, do you understand, educational, from that perspective, structure. It's more social, culture for me. I believe that age between 10 and say 15, 16 is where either adolescents are forming, getting to like even coming to their own and like get a grip of who they had. They have a lot of struggles, like going through adolescence, going through puberty and all that. And I don't think that, the school or our curriculum is actually built to actually take care of all those issues. And they would need their parents at that point. They're going to go to university and they're going to stay, away from home. So I just want to like keep my children like with me for as long as possible, because I know, okay, universities, they're going to go and whatever, and then at that point they're old enough to like, define their path and say, okay, this is what I want to be, or this is what I want to do, in life. So for me, that's why I don't think, boarding school is, an option for me. I'm keeping them at home as long as I cannot anymore. And like you said, because going back, I'm not going to look this, world, what our world is right now to determine going back to 1984, as a parent and, knowing what I have, gone through, because at that point you're having too many years. Like, okay, if a parent, at that we didn't have phone and all that. How many times were we able to like communicate with our parents? Only visiting and or we were talking about when it comes about book and all that. So when somebody says this, there's nobody to run it to apart from your mates. And they will now tell you more like false stories, you know what I mean? So my kid can go home. I heard this and all that, and I can put them and say, oh, this is it, this is not it, this is all this. You come back from school, I go pick you from school, and I'm like, okay, what's going on with your life? We talk and all that. So by the time they go up to university, you understand, they have the right information, the right culture, the right identity, and self-worth and self-esteem to deal with whatever issues that they're going to face in life.
Can I say something to what you just said? I'm both to what Evelyn said earlier in regards to your experiences in command when you were younger. I definitely agree. Times have changed. There has been some upgrades in command in recent times, but it's mostly done by the alumni, really. Honestly, it's not by Nigerian Army Education. And it's because of the love we have for the school. But what I've realized being from my days in command, and when I look back today, first of all, you're able to, the discipline is there, perseverance, you're very principled as a person. Your yes is your yes, your no is your no. You're able to persevere during any challenges. And if I look at my life over 30 years, I've had a lot of challenges, but I've always succeeded over them because I'm very focused, hyper focused on whatever I believe. I don't give up on things. And I think attending a regimental school, because of how things were structured when we were in school, yes, we didn't like it when we were there, but when we reflect on it now you tend to see the structure. We've had a couple of guests over, like we had Edgar, who was our senior, who didn't like the regimental lifestyle when he was in school, because one, he got in there when he was younger, but today he appreciates some certain things. It helped him in his professional. Or Kenny Phillip, when Kenny Phillip talked about his structure, how it allows him to jog today, amongst other things. Those are things that are positive, that makes you stand out a lot of times at your job, professional settings, when you talk to other people. And I noticed when I talk to my friends who went to military schools in Nigeria, any of the military schools, Air Force, Navy and stuff, there's a difference from if they attended a civilian school. And there's a definite difference if they attended a day school. Like, day school people are real butter. Stuff they cannot adapt.
It depends. It depends.
Huh?
No. Those ones, they be ogbolobo.
No, the ogbolobo is different, because those ones, I fear those ones. There is no. I have a cousin that told me he went to one of those schools. I can't remember, but one of those day schools. When he was telling me that when he was in Form 2, they used to beat up Form 5 boys, that the Form 5 boys run into teacher's class. And he saw me looking at him like, like he said, that did not be a school. He said, where? Then we deal with you, the structure. So the lack of structure of how Form 2 boys are beating up Form 5 boys because they are bigger. I said, that can never happen in command. I said, so the big boys don't try. I said, well, be worried. And they was like, are you serious? I'm like, no. There were a lot of seniors, 88 said that I was bigger that I felt like beating up when I was in command. But I know if I try that, what will happen to me? I will die. So lack of discipline. So when he was telling me that thing, I was just looking at him, I was shaking my head. I said, I see why those schools that they like fighting unnecessarily and stuff. Like when you get to university, you see how those guys that went to those schools want to fight you. Command that self-control, right? Impulse control is there. You know, that you are not going to do those kind of stunts. And that's why I'm very happy I went to I went to a command, because the impulse control was built into us. Huh?
We had those that were fighting now, even in command.
No, you had the fight, but it's not like if you. When I was younger, when we were younger, we used to live in Obanikoro, which was close to I forgot what is it, Obanikoro College, Igbobi College, one of those schools. Yeah. Those guys were always fighting and breaking a bottle on their head in one bar, not too far from our head. Those things you don't see in command now. Yes, it's not that they don't fight. Don't get me wrong, they fight, but you don't see those kind of indiscipline.
Yeah.
Okay, Evelyn. Okay, go ahead.
For me, interestingly, commanders sold the boarding style of education to me. You know, I remember before going to command in Kwaja, I was a foxy eater. I mean, if it wasn't rice, swallow. Mm-hmm. My mom will beat me, will talk. I just wasn't eating, but it was in command. All the food I did not eat at home, hey, I learned to eat it.
Them now.
I said today there's nothing I cannot eat.
The food I didn't like then, I still don't like them now.
I remember Lami didn't like amala, no crop. My friend,
still don't like the
collected the amala. Then they'll give us a core and a vegetable.
And I still don't eat it now.
Lami to your butter. You're rejecting.
This it's like let me say this like when you put I think traits also and personality has to do with a lot with our makeup. Mm-hmm. And then how we handle the experiences that we do, experience.
Education for unisex.
Definitely.
So definitely not. And I'm open to boarding arrangement. I mean, it works.
So you send your kids?
Oh yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, let's get to some fun part.
But even boarding school system now has changed. Now boarding house that they are going, that they are washing bed sheet or washing is only their underwear or some soft things they wash themselves. Boarding house that you understand. They do some chores. But they don't know langa. They don't know
at all.
Do you understand?
I think for me, the kind of values I want to teach my kids, I believe that I'll be in a better position to you understand, teach them, rather than just entrusting some stranger to, because I think in our society, we have taken a lot out of actually building, the characters of, young, people and all that. We're overlooking that and paying too much attention on education,
academics.
You understand? You have to read your book. You have to read your book. When I go to my kids' school and we're having the teacher and parent conference, and they're trying to let's talk about academics. I'm more concerned about how is she, with her peers. How is she doing, teamwork?
Talk about the social skills.
You understand? More of emotional. Yeah. Thank you. Those skills rather than. She make A's? Did she make a B? Did she make a C? You get what I'm saying? So I'm more about building that character.
No, I agree about that. I think the focus. No, you're right. The focus during our time was your grades. The focus now is your all-round all what was the word I'm looking for? Meaning, like, and I remember how the schools are here. It's not just the academics, but sports, how you do generally, what you do in regards to volunteering and stuff like that. The focus, I think, the British system is what Nigerians use, where it's more academic. It's just like he said last in our last recording that back in the days when Colonel Lawal would say, if you're the last 10, they'll put you on the assembly hall and they'll shame you. Yeah. That if you do that to kids these days, they'll need a shrink to help them because
they probably sue you.
They'll sue you. But guess what that did that time? It made you improve in your academics to get to a better grade.
And we still do operate from that place of fear, even in our careers. Like, do you understand? I think it shapes our life into who we became.
Yeah, we don't have. I mean,
we're in Nigeria.
Our own.
I think that's what has affected our system, our economy, and everything. Because you can't just challenge authority and challenge status quo. In the religious sector, a lot of things are going on. Even when you want to talk, they be like,
you look like you want to say something.
Don't even go there.
I'm trying to transition into the fun part. I'm waiting for you guys to be ready.
Okay. Fun part.
All the drama when they speak. I don't say I do some weird things for command. Share.
Did you sneak out of school? Or did you do what the boys did and go to the farmer's farm or go to a cocoa farm?
Wait. Okay. I mean, they go space now. They go space where?
Yeah, they are fine girls.
What can I talk?
That's the space.
Evelyn, we'll start with you. Man.
Start with them.
No, I wasn't into space. I mean, she's here. I wasn't into space. Of course, I had friends, maybe once in a while I would do errands. And I think go call, say,
they are waiting for you. Ask her who she's calling, please.
You're going to start mentioning names, but the fun part, I enjoyed music in command. I love music. And the school choir, Mr.
They say, what's the bad things you did? Don't go to
Kojo Tete.
Yeah, I'll get there. Kojo Tete was fantastic with the school choir.
Yeah, it was.
So today, I still recall some of the songs and the anthems, and I sing them to myself, and it just brings back a lot of good memories. I enjoyed our 10th anniversary. Colonel Awal was fantastic. Then all those plays, end of term. I think end of term will now have the plays, all the houses will add the drama and all the get together. It was then Saturday night after inspection, we'll have the dance. I don't know what it was. They will play music and we'll be dancing. And I mean, those were, the very fun part. We did sneak out of school once.
Nobody punishing you at this stage now.
But it wasn't really planned. I recall that we're just, I think it was myself, herself, Ikwaripo, Priscilla.
You're going to rock me into this one now, right?
And we just like joke, we're just like, okay, let's even see, we could get past the gate. And we just walked past expecting that the soldiers were like, hey, come here, wait, do you understand? And maybe stop us and ask for exit or whatever. Nobody stopped us. And we just kept walking and walked past the gate.
Pushing the boundaries.
We just kept, okay, let's go to Omi's. We got there after eating fufu. Was it fufu or whatever they had then? It was we ate.
And you guys experienced Unubo? Wow.
Why should we go back? Do you understand? And that was how we just went to town, and we now went to visit her uncle. Poor young man. All of a sudden, just had poor young teenager just drop on his lap like that from nowhere, and of course, I think it was a Friday, and just met us in the house. We had to. I mean, it was fun. I mean, that was the time of RoboCop. There was all these movies then. Terminator. We were just watching movies, and And of course, once in a while, we just whisper to ourselves, what if maybe either of our parents will just come to school to come and look for us? So we said, but interestingly, and to the glory of God and the shame of the devil, we got back in.
We got away with it.
We got away with it. Nothing, I mean, nobody knew. And if I say I swear till tomorrow, if they tell my parents that I ever did this, they will deny to stay alive.
Wow.
That was how much of a goody tissue we were. I mean, well behaved and all that. But so that's the only one I mean I can recall that.
So you guys have the same experience.
I did the party bits. I did some of the party bits. I did some of the
I
spacing.
one of the
I did some. I did.
But you multitask and all that. But how I'm so fast and precise in some of the things I do, I'm like, when they are counting 30 for you and you must have your bath, it's 30 now before you are bathing with soap and sponge from head to toe. Well, you miss that one, you will punishment. They'll count they'll count for you to make your bed and be ready for inspection and all that. So you just have to be, you know.
A 9 cent princesses over here. When I came to Nigeria after 10 years of being Nigerian, not seeing you guys for a long time, my classmates, and Bosse came to say, "Hey, Goke, how are you doing?" Do you remember that? Do you remember when we were in the stadium and you are talking to me? Do you know I didn't recognize you?
That's a damn thing.
No, I'm serious. I was wondering who you are until Bemisola now came to me and she goes, you are not speaking to Evelyn. I'm like, who is Evelyn? And she goes, your girl, Bosse from Tiger House. I said, Bosse Osheni. She was like, I said, Mudano. She looks different. You know, because he had a short hair in command those days, right? So I'm confessing. So I'm looking at Bosse. So I came back to meet you when you were with your daughter. I was like, Bosse, how far now? And you were like, yeah, then you are looking at me weird. It's because I now recognize you. Because when you first spoke to me, I was looking at you like, who is this? I didn't, because I hadn't seen you since 89. I hadn't seen you in years. So you look very different. I greeted you, but I didn't greet you with the same kind of, this is my girl that, I talked to. Until when, so thanks to, no, it's just, I just wanted to admit that part. Like, Bemisola was the one who put me in check. Okay. Is that not you and Bosse used to talk in command those days? And it was true. We used to talk back in the day, but I forgot.
Let me talk the story about Bosse, Evelyn, or the name.
Oh, yes.
You know, of course, Bosse Osheni, there was Bosse Alai in 89 said, we had Bosse Salvador, I think 88. Bosse Salvador, is it 88 or 87?
No,
I can't remember. There was Bosse Ogundare. There was Bosse Okelola. And so, so they usually differentiate us with our surnames. And I remember even at home, especially when you go and visit, family occasions, is either Bosse Kekere, Bosse Agba, Bosse Lejogu, Bosse. So when I was going into uni, it was a conscious decision that I made that I was going to drop the Bosse name and go with Evelyn. So, of course, my documents and everything is Evelyn and Bosse de Osheni, but Evelyn. So if you go on social media and you're looking for Bosse Osheni, you don't miss road. You will never find. You find my marriage name, Evelyn. So when people call me, so anybody who calls me Bosse, I know that this person.
They know you from back of the day.
Way back. My university uni classes and those after 89 will call me Evelyn. Interestingly, even at home, my parents, everybody, Evelyn, so that's how the nickname formally, because even on the 89 platform, a lot of people don't know. They usually ask, who is Evelyn Lani?
Yeah.
I say, now, Bosse, And I now come like Bosse Osheni. Oh,
Evening, formally.
So now say evening, formally Bosse, and just say okay, formally.
Yeah, those who change their names when they have different names, I'm like, who is that? And they will go, oh, this is this person, like Rosie, for example, who uses Rosie. When I was like, who will be Rosie? Yeah. And they will now say, oh, I've forgotten her other name. And they will now mention the other name. I'm like, oh yeah, what's up with Rosie now? Stuff like that. So the same thing that happened to you is like, what's up with the Evelyn thing? I don't remember Evelyn. It's Boss at me I remember. Or, you understand? But you know, I guess we've all evolved, and so me, I'm Goke for life. the name sticks.
Evelyn.
Is it literature or geography or government? I don't. But
one of the hard classes, yeah. I think I remember.
But I mean, my favorite math teacher was Ikuma Pai. I mean, he made me like math.
I don't know.
That was in Form 5. That was in Form 5.
You know.
No, he taught. I think he taught me in Form 3.
Oh, really? Form 5. He used to throw chalk at people if you are not paying attention. You're sleeping. I remember him. But the math class.
Yeah, I used to wear the OAS class.
Nobody liked OAS.
Hey, listen. No. I did. I was an A student in geography, so I loved the guy.
Who? OAS did not teach geography. It was math.
No.
Oh,
who's that guy that did geography again?
Oyelere.
Yeah, that's right. No, yeah, that's right. I don't like that guy.
OAS class is still the class I reminisce about. That I tell my daughters the story of OAS and they laugh. So remember OAS class those days that if you ask you a question and you did not know, he would draw a circle. He would draw a circle and he will flog you. Yeah, and if you came out of the circle, he will add +5. Then he will.
So it's like the one that it did, you know, to me then, and that was so unfortunate because we're going for a midterm break and gave us this math assignment. Because I mean, I was an A student while in school, so I never used to fall, you know, within all his whatever. Is so this particular day gave us this assignment and I'd warned everybody that if you do not do your assignments, you understand that it was going to do this and this and this. So you had like, you know, whatever. Told us the punishments and everything. And lo and behold, we went for midterm. That was the first assignment I did. That was the first thing I did my assignment. And unfortunately, you know, because it was among the first things I did. I just left my notebook on the table where I did my assignments and everything. So going back to school, I had forgotten about, you know, this assignment, the math assignments, and just went to school. It was when we got to school the next day, which was like, okay, normally I think whatever we're supposed to be having maths, and I looked for my assignment, my notebook, everywhere, and I couldn't find it. And I don't do well with koboko or caning or whatever. I don't do well with it.
Talking about koboko,
oh my God,
something now.
I am done for. And a way doesn't, you know, understand that, oh, she's a first, do you understand? Whatever perpetrators or whatever. So he doesn't understand. The thing is that I've given you this and I've told you, you know, the consequences, and so you follow within, you know. That was how he drew the circle, and I told us that it's just 3. I'm giving you 3 strokes of the cane, and Ikoboko had like, you know, 4 mouths. You know how the
Yep.
So, and if I flog you, and it will give you the 3, and you know, you have to maintain whatever the cycle, maintain whatever your position in that cycle while it gives you the 3 strokes of whatever the Koboko. This guy will give me 2, because there's no how not like, and I'll now step out of the cycle. The guy will now, this guy was beating me for like, we couldn't count. I think at the point he had to just give up, because I will come out of the circle and the guy will start from the beginning again. And maybe the second one I'll come out of the circle, because how would I rub my body now and all that? And that thing was so painful. I think that was on that experience I never forgot in command.
No, I hated Lieutenant Oroye's math class in Form 2. I was always terrified.
And the first time I fell into one of these, you know, whatever.
So maybe this will be my starting shot. I think we were in Form 3, either Form 3 or Form 2. it was technical drawing class, and it was 2 periods.
Mm-hmm.
For some strange reason, the teacher left the class. So we thought that, do you understand? Okay, free period. Some of us will now snuck to the hostel. And around that, I think around that 10, 11, this woman that used to walk early in the morning, yam and stew with pomo. You go over the fence. Anyway, we snuck to the hostel. Went to, either you go and drink garri. Anyway, he went to hostel, had a good time, thinking that no technical drawing class. By the time we finished, we were coming back to class. As we were entering the classroom, he was coming, from the staff room. And do you understand? When we sighted him come, we ran into the class, and apparently he saw us because he came in and was like, who were the people, that obviously we were not in class. And I think he just made up his mind he was going to flog the whole class. Ew, Jesus Christ. It wasn't funny because I had scars on my legs. And when I went home at that time, I went home on holidays, and my mom asked me, what happened to you? I had to lie that I fell down. Because
no, they will beat you again. They will ask you, what did you do? They had to beat you. Then you now say that you jumped class. They are finished.
Yeah, that's true. You can't admit to that part to your parents.
Since that time, the fear of getting on the wrong side of the law, or do you understand? I couldn't deal. I just couldn't deal.
I want to say 2 different distinct experiences of Lieutenant OS math class in Form 2, which is still funny to me. One was, I don't know if you guys remember Cyril Isoje.
Of course.
I know the name, yeah.
Yeah, he was our mate and stuff. So he used to, remember those days, military officers used to have this specific shoe they wear that used to make noise, crack, crack, crack. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. I don't know if you remember back in the days, it was a brown ox blood shoe. I remember my dad had it too because he was an officer. So Cyril now put pins all over the underneath of the shoe because he wanted his shoe to have that sound effect, right? And unfortunately, Cyril did not know mathematics. So one day, Lieutenant Oweye asked a question on math and now asked Cyril to come and solve the question on the blackboard. Till today, it's still the funniest shit ever because when Cyril got up and was trying to walk, he was trying to walk slowly so that the noise would not happen. And Oya was looking at him as he was doing crack. He was like, why is your shoe making noise? He was like, nothing. And me, Anthony Gone, I think that and some other guy, we were laughing because we knew why he did it because he told us, right? So when he got over there, he was like, okay, solve the question. Cyril went at the blackboard. He was standing looking at the blackboard because he didn't know what he was doing generally. Then he now said, why do you have the pins? And he now said he wants his shoe. He now told him the truth. He wants his shoe to sound like how military officers, military officers, shoes and everything. And Lieutenant Owen said, you become a military officer. You that you cannot do any math. Then they asked him some rapid math question. Cyril could not answer it. So he now told Temitayo Olaleye to come and answer, to do the thing. And Temitayo was very smart. So she came, she did the math question and did it very well. And Lieutenant, we were like laughing. He now told Temitayo to slap Cyril. And Temitayo was smallish that time. And I said, so Temitayo now gave him one little snap. Then Lieutenant now told her to come. Now flogged that one time. Whee! Now said, go back and slap him. If you see the way she jumped, I actually told Temitayo this. If you see the way she jumped and slapped him, small Temitayo, Cyril was on the floor. She put all her power on that slap. He was on the floor. Then Lieutenant now told him to come into the circle and flogged him on top for everything. I said that he should remove all those pins from his shoe. He's not worth being a military officer. So that was one. The other one, I don't know if you remember when he would ask you questions those days for math, right? And you did not know it. He always picked out the people that didn't raise up their hand. I don't know if you remember those days. So whenever he asked questions, everybody raised their hands on the math class, whether you knew it or not. You understand? So this is the second funny part that happened. So one day he did that, and Wale Adebogun did not raise his hand. And everybody had raised their hand. And guess why Wale Adebogun did not raise his hand? Wale Adebogun was sleeping with his eyes open. I actually asked him that question last year. That how did you do that thing that day? Yes, it was. Yeah, and he remembered. So Owen now walked towards him and looked and did this. And Wale did not flinch. He did not flinch. He did not flinch. His eyes, he was sleeping. But he did not say, and all of us were just looking at him. Wale is in trouble. It was Koboko. He used to wake him up. Why? Wale just jumped up. And he was like, my friend, go to the blackboard and go and solve this. Wale was there looking, the flogging that boy got that day. After that time, I don't know how that boy slept with eyes open. You understand? That's why he missed the mark of raising hand to act like he knew it. Because when those days now, when you raise hand, and you didn't know the question, you are praying that Jesus, let him pick the person, one of those fathers in class that knew the mathematics question. Let him not pick me. I remember telling my daughter this question. They were laughing. They were like, so daddy, you raise your hand whether you knew it. I'm like, sometimes I knew it. Sometimes I did not know it. But I raised the hand whether I knew it or not. But when I didn't know it, I was praying that he did not pick me. And I think the only time he picked me, I knew that question. I was thanking God for that. You understand? Because he will shame you. You go to class, you have to solve it on the class. No, his class was a terror back in Form 2 days. I hated I hated Lieutenant Lower's class. I hated it completely. And it was double period on Tuesdays, every Tuesday. Every Monday night, I'll be shedding tears. I have Lieutenant Lower's class.
I didn't hate his class until when he did what he did to me. So it was like on my good side until that happened.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No,
you were.
I never had any issue with not knowing any of his questions. In fact, I won't raise up my hand and he won't even call me. Then he had we used to do this thing when you come first to third, you use a wooden desk.
Yeah.
And know the star pupils. So I was always one of the star pupils in my class. You know what I mean? So he never used to bother. So that actually affected me. You should have known that I would do the assignment. You understand? Because I thought that okay, something I could explain my way out of. I did this thing, but you know what I'm saying? The guy holds no prisoners. He didn't care that okay, this person, you know what I mean? He should have okay, oh, let me have never been. Do you understand? And the guy flogged me till whenever.
We should be wrapping up. I just remembered some seniors that were nasty.
For 45 minutes we were on my case.
Talking about notes
me continuously.
Now, I remember a senior gave me her notes to copy. I think I fell ill, got to the hostel, just dumped the thing in my cupboard. I remember her as I was sleeping. I was given medication in MRS and in drowsiness, she came, set and took it. But because I wasn't fully conscious, I think the next day she just told me, where is my book? And of course, I was confused as in which book. She harassed me for 2 terms.
Really? 2 times.
And this is 88 sets. Anytime she had a free period, she was coming to my class.
To terrorize you.
Do you understand?
Wow.
Mention names. If I see her today, I don't know what I will do. Maybe the Holy Spirit will. I copied new notes. Even after, she would just come and tell, where is my notes?
I want to say that
no.
I think I've forgiven anybody that did whatever they did because they didn't know any better. You know what I mean? They were going through stuff and they were just having fun. It was just part of the fun and all that.
Another one gave me shoe to hold.
My younger brother went to
shoe. She collected my pocket money. I paid for the sandals.
Wow.
What happened to the sandals? What happened to the sandals?
It was inter-house sports, the heat period, the rehearsals and all that. So, after a while, when the race is getting intensive, everybody is crowding. You understand?
Right,
so I must have put the shoe somewhere. And me too, I went to. So afterwards, I remember that, shoe. I must have gone around that field at least 5 or 6 times. I remember that I missed my dinner that day looking for shoe. I don't know if you remember, because we can't find it. Maybe she has taken it, and next
And that is it.
Where is my shoe? I cannot answer. Gosh.
I think it's still prevalent in our society. You know, people take out frustrations on their own frustrations on, you know, others. So thank God we survived it.
Yes,
we did, but it has helped us today now to be able to persevere.
I don't still think, you know, so that it is what, you know, they did. I don't think it was those punishments, because like I said, some people still have, you know, trauma from that period, that they just believe nothing good would come out of command. I have a friend who wouldn't have anything to do with command because she's still traumatized by a lot of experiences that happened there. So it also had the impact on some people's, you know, self-esteem. Like I said, we're all different. We like, you understand? Yeah. So experiences, especially those kind of, you know, trauma, I don't think anybody needs to go through those things and all that. What made us is the discipline that the school had. That was enough. The discipline, the structure was enough. I mean, because everything was done intentionally. Our education was intentional. Like the teachers we had were like iconic. Like I said earlier on, maybe it was because we're small. I don't think we have those kind of, you know, caliber of teachers, you know, anymore. Maybe because we're small, we look at them like heroes and all that.
Oh, you know? Of course, they were giants.
You know, so they were like just, you know, enigmatic. The women, you see, everybody had one unique thing about them. You know,
Mrs.
everybody had a unique thing about them.
I love Mrs.
So I think those teachers and the kind of education that, you know, we're being given shaped us into what we had, not the seniors.
Yeah. Well, the motto was discipline and knowledge. So so definitely it brought us to where we are today. I was going to ask both of you your RSM experience. I'm sure you must have chopped RSM Koboko back then.
No, I didn't chop Koboko. Interestingly, RSM knew my dad. And besides, I was a good girl. I mean, we were not notorious. So the only, I didn't chop RSM Koboko.
And really? In your 5 years there?
No.
Let me tell you, how about you?
RSM wasn't big on flogging women, though.
Actually, can't remember being in any of his.
No, we were good girls. We were never. We were not deviants.
Wow. So.
And of course, I knew that because he knew my dad. If I got into trouble, he would tell. So, do you understand?
So you're scared.
So you always behaved yourself.
Of course, there are a couple of times where I've been late inside.
Night Diva, you guys have been so much fun. I think we should bring them back, right?
Oh yeah, we should in the future. I'm sure that you will definitely get a lot of likes and stuff.
And the house still look fine, man. Your house still look fine for real.
They get husband though.
I'm just saying, just compliment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, if I don't know now, I go toast to Nana. So it's okay.
Every time I see, even when I want to give up, like I was watching was it BET the other day, 2019 BET award and blah blah blah, and I saw Angela Bassett.
Oh my God, she's hot.
She is like very hot. And
she's about 6.
How old do you think she is? She now said 40 something and all that, and I was like,
no,
she's not really. And it's like she's 61.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
No slacking.
I said black don't crack, baby.
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack.
Yeah. If you take care of yourself, you always look nice, either male or female, compared to folks from other.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We've enjoyed you, ladies. We appreciate your time. I know it's kind of maybe 9 o'clock over there now.
Yeah. We're close. So first of all, I want to thank the Evelyn and Lametu. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation to be on the show. It was a pleasure getting to hear your experiences and how it has shaped you, ladies, to adulthood, to where you guys are at today. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. And we definitely, what happened? We cut up. So definitely like and subscribe and share so that with other people. So we look forward to that. Thank you very much. Ife, any last words?
No, thank you guys again. Spread the word. Don't forget. All right.
All right.
Thank you, ladies.
All right. Bye.
I think I'll.
Go back.